Good afternoon, good evening, good night, etc. Whatever time it is for you. Whatever the appropriate greeting for the appropriate hour. Welcome back. There's the button. So, let's see, where did we leave off? Yesterday we left off with an infinite loop in our flood fill algorithm. Hey, Ferlansky. I wouldn't say that we're on early today. What I would say is that we are on late. We have been on late most of the time. I would like to be streaming longer, but because of my work schedule, the only way to do that is to stream earlier, which is a struggle for me. Because I'm West Coast, so it's pretty early for me to start, you know, before this, much before this. But I'm gonna try to do better. So yeah, like I was saying, we were in an infinite loop. The stack was never getting empty. Hey, we streaming. Yep. True. So this is the problem. I found it. I identified where the problem was, which it's in next is greater than or equal to ship volume minimum, and more importantly, next is less than or equal to ship volume max. I also rewrote some of this, so it looks a little different than yesterday. It didn't fix it, but it was like part of my process of like figuring it out. So here's the problem. You can't just do this. Next and ship volume max are vector 3s. And as I brutally learned, or remembered, I guess I technically knew this at one point, but I don't think about it this way. So this, Ferlansky, you didn't see the infinite loop. Oh yeah, you must have missed it. I mean, you saw the fact that we couldn't run the code, but that, yeah, we identified where it was. So compare two vector 3i vectors by first checking if the x value of the left vector is less than the x value of the right vector. If the x values are exactly equal, then it repeats. Let's check with the y values. And then with the z values. So this is not sufficient for what we're trying to do, which is we're trying to tell whether a vector is within a boundary. So we need something that's a little more... We could try a couple of things. The issue that we were running into is that the y vector was basically unbounded because it would just only check the x factor and then never check the y component if the x factors... Like if the x component was like lower or higher or whatever, it would just never check the y. So the y was just unbounded and would just go endlessly. So we need to be particular about what component we're comparing. Yeah, hopefully you're here for the fix. Hopefully we fix it. So I know this. I know this. You can't generally just compare vectors like this. You don't get the component-wise comparison that you generally want if you just do it like this. But for some reason, I did it like this anyway. So we need to be particular. So we can do something we did somewhere else where we can say something like comp equals next dot max. Actually, we either need the max or the min, huh? We basically need to check vector 3, this is stupid. Maybe we just break this out of the loop and do these individually. Maybe we just stop doing it this way. Start doing that down here. I'm gonna do z minus, then z plus. We're gonna do we're just gonna do this component wise. All right, here's where I get confused with the constants. I think the y is flipped for what we want here. I think down is up, which I guess is generally true for Godot. No, that's correct. Forward is, I guess forward and back are flipped for us, maybe? Yeah, because forward is negative, which is reasonable. But for us, it's not global north. It's like negative is below, positive is above. But that's because we're going by z index. So the rest of this is fine. All right, yeah, let's just step through one at a time. Let's just get rid of the loop. It's not beautiful, but I think it's okay. And it lets us be very particular. Want this one. No, we actually want this one. Except we don't need to check this anymore. You can just say if not tested as next. Actually, if we're doing it this way, we can take one of these. Say this. We can move this down here. No, we'll leave it up there. 3i. Anyway, how's it going for everyone this morning? We're almost at the weekend. For those of you who are weekend enjoyers. This flood fill is like really inefficient, but I just want to get it. This is the version of it that's going to be like the least bug prone, so I just want to do this and then we can switch it to something better. Like span checking or whatever. Yx dot left should be negative. Yep. Lansky, if it could be a weekend with good weather here for a change, that'd be great. Properly conned out of a summer this year. That sucks. I live in San Francisco, so it's like, and I live in the part that's like always cold and foggy, which I prefer, honestly. But yeah, we get like 1 month of summer around September. It's usually like late August until like early October. That's when we get our moment of summer, typically. So we haven't even really gotten there yet. Alright, this should work. Famous last words. Should probably make that the correct constant. And this is stupid, but it's not nested terribly. Just get rid of this for the moment. So this should not have a infinite loop anymore. It's probably going to break in some other way, but it shouldn't have an infinite loop at least. All right, yeah, we got a crash. Here, that's good. We made it through the... This is where the infinite loop was. And we made it through to this. So we need to say if tile blocks init tile. I need a better thing than this. Init tile is a block.wall, or tile blocks init tile is a block.door. I need a word for like a horizontal blocker or something, or like solid, or I need some shorthand that I can assign multiple enums to. I mean, I guess if I arranged these differently, I could use like a flag, but I could use them as flags, but I don't really want to do that because we're using them otherwise. Maybe that's okay. Maybe I could still do it. Tile blocks.has init tile. So this won't bother if the tile blocks doesn't have it, because then we don't need to check it. I changed the way the flood fill works a little bit, where we don't include walls in a compartment listing, and that might have consequences in a partition. Like, we don't include... Alright, well, we're doing it constantly. Alright, so the partition is no longer the problem. We broke through. The flood filling is not causing the problem anymore. I need to turn off that NVIDIA overlay thing. Starts up like all the time. So that's not the problem. We need to go back up here. Now we need to see if we can do this. Tile block replaced. I'm just going to step through this real quick and see if any of the changes I made are going to cause a serious problem. Tile blocks has this coordinate. It's a floor. This doesn't make a ton of sense. Why is it this? So if the tile blocks are the same as our block type, that's fine. So if we match... Oh, that's because I'd only consider a floor if I'm also a floor. I see. No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That's not what this is. So, coordinates, tile blocks. Oh no, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That is what it is. And then we're looking at an opposite block. So if we're a floor and there's another tile, then it's some... Ah, I see, I see. Okay. Remembering how my own code works. All right. This should be... So if... This is what we want to look at, this compartment 0 stuff. If tile blocks coords is the same as the block type. No, so this will never come true because a wall will never be part of this. Or no, if we're a wall, this is us. Okay, this is how we process this. Okay. I honestly might move this down, this get hull types thing. I'm tempted to move it down to like particular layer. Like we have a wall layer class that extends the ship layer. We could get rid of some of this. Right now it's just this match, this floor wall match, but we're gonna add the door soon. So I think we're actually gonna push a lot of this down. Then we'll have to push even more of it down. We'll just have to implement all of this on the lower level. On like the particular class, the layer type, like wall or floor. But for now, this should be fine. I don't see this being a huge problem. I'm just making sure we're not depending on walls being part of the compartment. So if tile blocks doesn't have this, yeah, then we want to check the compartment. The tile blocks, it's the same as the block type. Otherwise, this doesn't make a ton of sense to me, this line. So if we're a wall and we're looking at the opposite block to us, so if the opposite block to us is the same as us, like it's also a wall, I don't know why we're saying is equal to block type. We could say is equal to enum block.wall. That's more honest. That's more what we're doing here. Let's do that to not be unclear about what we're looking at here. Yeah, okay. Otherwise, if it's not a wall, it could be a door. Okay, but if it's a door, that's fine. Okay, so then we're checking. If it's a door, it's not going to be part of the compartments. Or it's not going to be part of compartment 0, at least. Otherwise, it's the inner hall. Okay, no, this is good. This makes sense so far. Okay. Yeah, I think we can test this again. See what we get. Non-existent function tile block replaced. Have I changed it to be tile blocks replaced? Highest visible deck. Ship deck. Tile block replaced. Oh. I marked it as private. It's not a private function. Okay, so we're not getting any errors. But it's also not rendering anything. So there's that. We seem to have gotten rid of the runtime errors, at least. So somewhere in here... Set tile cells. Tile IDs coords dot set cell self coords. Scene. Okay, so we're never setting tile cells. So that's interesting. That's why we're never drawing anything. So tile IDs is remaining empty. Why is that? Tile IDs not clear. Tile IDs coords. For coords in hull types. See if we are getting any hull types. Okay, we're not getting any hull types. So the tile preview, build preview is not giving us a tile to work with. That's what we're seeing here. Yeah, we're not even getting a tile block. Okay, okay. That's an interesting problem. These should all be getting passed around by reference, so this should be fine. For Lansky, in that horrible state where we've stopped getting runtime errors and now we get logical errors. Sometimes you just prefer it to properly crash. Yeah, honestly, yes. But it's a pretty simple problem, seems like. We're not... I'm gonna stop it here. We're gonna look at... So our mapped coordinates are -6, -12. Five. That's outside... So this shouldn't have even triggered, because that is outside of the build area. Oh, am I making the same mistake up here? Am I comparing the full vector of the ship volume thing? Am I not doing... Yeah, I'm not. I'm doing... Look at... I'm doing it here. If mapped chords is greater than ship volume minimum and mapped chords is less than shipped volume max. Okay. So... we're gonna make a utility script because it's about time. I see what we're doing wrong. Hey Connectus, how am I doing? I'm doing great. We resolved our infinite loop. We're now resolving another issue that comes out of the same thing, which is the fact that if you try to compare two vectors, you don't get a proper component-wise comparison. Like if you try to say, is this vector less than this other vector? It just compares the x value and then potentially doesn't move beyond that. So we need to set up a little component-wise comparison. We're going to make a little utility function for this. So we're gonna say this is a static func. We're gonna call it inside volume, or we'll call it like in vol. Within volume. Just say inbounds. I don't really want to call it inbounds, but so that's going to take a vector 3i. Might need to change this if we end up needing a 2D version of it. Oh, cool. I'm going to respond to that in a second once ads are over, because I feel like you might be caught in the ads. You always dodge ads due to Prime. Is that how Prime works? Why am I paying for Turbo if that's how Prime works? Only the most expensive tier. Oh, you meant Turbo. Okay, okay. But you use the Prime badge because you don't want to seem like a... You don't want to like rub it in all the plebes' faces. I do the same thing. I don't use my Turbo badge either. I'm ashamed. So if vector dot x is greater than less than or equal. We'll call this vec, not utility. Vec 3. I. It's stupid that I'm having to do it this way. So we'll see this. We'll call this less than or equal. You appreciate it? Okay, thank you, Verlansky. Hey, Cubus, how's it going? How's it going, Cubus? Oh yeah, Connectus. You mentioned that you're working on stuff too. You implemented a horde mode. The off-screen spawning is still a bit buggy and not perfect, but you'll fix that. That's awesome. Horde mode is so cool. I'm always tempted when I do like a jam or something. I'm always tempted to do like an infinite score or some kind of infinite game mode because it seems easier, honestly, than doing something concise with like a story and stuff. So I love seeing that kind of thing. We're making component-wise utility functions, Cubus, because we found the culprit of our infinite loop, as well as some other bugs that we're running into. So we're setting up a actual component-wise. It's called V3I. I like Vec3I better. It's also a nice way to test AI behaviors, so 2 flies in 1 stone. You will do a story mode? Cool, cool. Yeah, if you want to tell us more about the game, I'm not sure how much I know about this game or how much you have been willing to share. It's cool if not. We'd also be super down to have you share your work in the Discord sometime. I know everyone's in too many Discords, so don't feel like you have to join. It's gotten to the point where I've started making Discord folders. I have like way too many. All right, so this should be fine for less than or equal. So we'll make another one that's just less than. Static func less than. Maybe we still call this util, but when you say like less than or equal to v, you could say v3i less than or equal. This is stupid, but it solves our problem. You'll join and you'll show it off when you actually can show some gameplay screenshots. Still lacking in the art department. We love programmer art. Don't feel like I'm impressed by just seeing like gray boxes running around. But there are people, I know there are people that like have a hard time holding that in their head and like able to see the vision. So I know there's some people that you just don't, like the wider audience you would never want to share work in progress stuff with, but we know how it is. But yeah, whatever you're comfortable sharing, we're very excited to see progress updates. Considering all my game art is programmer art because I'm the programmer and I make the game art, I'm cool. Thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah, and our introduction to our little Discord bot, or not Discord bot, our like Twitch bot, Halper 9000. You can trust Halper. All right, so now we just plug this little utility function in everywhere. We don't need to do it in our flood fill because we're just comparing a single component. But up here, we have some of these. We have these. Mapped chords is greater than ship volume minimum, and mapped chords is less than ship volume max. Instead of that, we're going to say util dot v3i less than mapped chords ship vol min ship vol max. I kind of wish you could function overload. Like, I wish I didn't need to do this v3i thing, and I could just have a bunch of variants of less than that took different parameters, but GDScript is not like that. That is a failing of GDScript, in my mind. You can't overload functions like that. Like, it wants every differently parametered function to have a different name. Which is weirdly uncool of it. Maybe, I guess, if you implement a variant, a version of the function that operates on a variant, maybe that would work, and it would just accommodate all the types. But I'm a little suspicious of doing that. Where else are these mapped chord things? Here's one. Oh no, that's not it. But yeah, let's just control F map chords and make sure we're catching all of these. You can make a function for that, but let's not do that yet. Is it just these two? I guess it is. It's just the two build functions. That can't be right. Oh, it's the paint preview function. That's the only one that has this problem. Okay, right. All right, let's see. Okay, no behavior yet. Back to this. Breakpoint it. These people are frustratingly telling me. So, okay, so tile block replaced is no longer calling, which is good in a way. It's also bad in another way, though. Oh, it's because we're getting the mapped coordinates from layer 0. I think. Maybe not. Let's see how we're picking the highest deck. Highest deck is shiphaul.highest visible deck. Okay. So how's the shiphaul picking this? Shiphaul, highest visible deck number equals deck minus 1. Deck count minus 1. The deck count is 6. Can confirm that. Oh no, the deck count. What? Oh, okay, here we go. The deck count is 6. So the highest deck should be 5. Let's look here. Yeah, 5 is up here. I think there's an issue where we're not offsetting the mapped coordinate correctly. Like, I don't think we're getting the correct coordinate value here. Let's... Oh, that's not what we want. We want... interesting. So instead of a breakpoint there, we're gonna just say, we're just gonna ask it to print the mapped coordinates. So I think there's a problem with this. "2D shooter" seems like the most accurate way to describe it at this point. That's cool. There's what is it? There's like a million ways you could do a 2D shooter, but that sounds pretty cool. Okay, no, it looks like we're getting, because this is the minimal. I know it's really hard to see because I have this windowed. Let me biggerize it a little bit. I wonder if there's a way to specify how big I want the window to start out. So this is the minimal point. It's -7, -7.5. This is the maximum point. It's 7.75. What if we go down a layer? Oh, we crash. Seeing if we can pan down. Okay. Oh, we hit something. Why did we do that here? Well, that's slow. It's very slow to change layers right now. It's not great. This is correct. And if we go down a layer, it's still correct. If we go down another layer, still correct. Okay, so it is getting the correct relative tile map coordinates for whatever layer we're on. So that's not the problem. Oh yeah, this is slow AF. So once we get this working, it is going to be very noticeably slow. Nay. Thanks for catching that, Frlansky. Arthur Gurm. We've got the best viewers right here. I don't know what you're talking about. Coffee is still warm. Life is good. Alright, so tile block replaced was not being called, except when we were on the lower levels, but it's still not doing anything. Why doesn't this call tile block replaced? But when I go down a layer, it does. It's curious. Your pan -1, mouse chords -2, -3, mapped chords -2, -3, 4. Block type 0, deck number, pending block 0, hidden block 0. That's not right. String index 0. Block history 1. Yeah, that's fine. Tile blocks, dictionary, size 1. -2, -3, 4. Key is null. Value is null. That's not right. Block partitions, dictionary, size 5. What? What the absolute fuck? Yeah, it should have all of these once. It shouldn't do this again. How is this doing it again? Okay, so what are you? -7. -3? What? Okay. And then what's in you? -5? Okay, so it's just going ham here. The Z thing seems to have failed. Okay, so our Z boundary checker thing is not working. How? So if z, tile.z minus 1 is greater than or equal to ship volume minimum z, sure. And if tile z plus 1 is less than or equal to ship volume max dot z. It's curious. Top down, nice. Top down 2D shooter. Those are fun. Init tile, ship volume minimum. That should be fine. Except, are you -1 now? You shouldn't be. Or should you? Oh yeah, you should. You should be -1. Are you, is the question. Oh, it's your 0. You should be -1, I think. Is that right? Yeah. -1, and you should be 6. Actually, you're just wrong in general. Or are you? No, yeah, this is right. Okay, that's correct. Does that do anything, though, is the real question. Oh, we hit this. Let's look at... So clearly there's a problem. Largely with the block partitions. It gets bigger. So this one is already bigger than it should be. So -1, 0. It only ever... It should be going all the way up to 5. It's not. Oh, there's 2. Okay. Let's go back to the beginning and go the other way. Okay. So far, this all looks inbounds. Okay, it should stop at 6. Does it stop at 6? Or does it keep going? Yeah, it stops at 6. It keeps going back down. Are there duplicate values? Almost certainly there seem to be duplicate values here. Because there's 6,375. Actually, that might be the correct number. Let's confirm that. So 8 to 8. 8 to -8 is 17. So 17 times 17 times 7. No. 17 times 17. Because, yeah, the distance between 8 and -8 is 17. When you count 8 and -8. So I guess the number of steps in the grid is 17. Multiply them. You get 289. Then you multiply them by Oh, so it's 8. There's 8 layers for -1 to +6 is 8 steps, including those points. So yeah, this array should not be bigger than this, which makes me think that we're adding duplicates. Is the ship volumetric grid is huge. Why is it like that? Oh, you're going all the way to -8? How are you doing this? Oh, so I'm feeding in bad data. How are you going all the way to -8? What the fuck? This is what happens when you write a ton of code and test none of it. So yeah, look at this. Ship volume maximum, 886. Ship volume minimum, -8, -8, -1. I feel like I've input an incorrect component somewhere. Aha, here it is. Ship volume min.x. This should be ship volume min.z. Okay. So that's part of the problem, is we were adding values to test that are bad. We're adding bad data. Let's go back and look at what we got here. This is 2312 now. That's what we said it should be, right? 17 times 17 times 8. 2312, yep. What if it was 19 by 19 times 8? How big is that? 2888? Okay. Hey, when to Flatus. Oh, hey, Fody. I'm good. How about both of you? Happy Friday, indeed. We're good. We're crunching bugs in our autotiler. We've got the code, functionally laid out to do the autotiling. And yeah, we're just crushing some bugs that we've been running into. The block partitions thing is too big, but there's at least only one partition now. But this is still too big. I have a suspicion that there are duplicate values in here. Let me see if I can prove that. 8, -7, -1. That's -8, -7, -1. Yeah, we had an infinite loop yesterday. I figured it out last night, just before midnight. And so we worked through that. Now it looks like our flood fill is filling in duplicate vectors. 8, -8. Yeah, wait, no, that's right. That is doable. 8, -8. These are all negative. Yeah, I don't know. This should be the same size as this volumetric grid. But it's not. It's like much bigger. So let's figure that out, because that's a problem. All good here too. Just finished work. Time to relax. Nice. You don't think you've ever seen anyone use the Godot debugger? It's fine. I don't have any problems with the Godot debugger. I like it. So it's simple, but it's nice. I prefer this than having to like load up VS or whatever. All right, so where do we think the problem is? Problem's got to be in here because we return this array. So we can't possibly be looping back over. We've got a tested tile array. I almost want to return this array. rather than this one. Return this array, the tested array, so that we don't have to then loop over the untested tiles and remove them. But that's an optimization. So let's fix bugs first. Oh, Wind, yeah, you saw Deadpool yesterday. Yes, Cubus. Godot debugger is good. Wind, really good for, not perfect, but really good. You also got some garage re-roofing done. That's nice. Yeah, good. Deadpool looks fun. I don't think I have time to see it in theaters, but I kind of want to because it keeps all the different little silly cameos keep getting spoiled by the internet for me. So I feel like if I don't see it while it's in theaters, I'm just gonna like know everything by the time it gets to streaming. All right, now let's check this because we don't need this. So we think we have a duplicates problem. We should not be adding. Huh. We're checking whether this. Oh, we've got ads, so yeah, I had to dodge a lot of spoilers. All right, we got 1 minute of ads. I'm just gonna drink my coffee and shut up for a second. Posture check myself. I didn't put my pillow in the right place, and now I'm in pain. That's better. Stretch. Okay, well, you're gonna have to see my pit stains. That's the reward for doing that. Thank you for the redeem. Yeah, some cameos are revealed by stupid headlines. Yeah, for me, it's just little. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's little headlines and little like cover images on like the news feeds and stuff. It's not like I'm reading about Deadpool. Nobody can have anything. Nobody can have anything spoiler free nowadays. Okay, so we are making sure that we have not tested. We're only testing these once. But we're adding them to the array multiple times. How is that true? I'm a little perplexed by that. I mean, can I just make it go away by saying if Phil dot if not Phil has tile? Actually, we should just do that at the top. Got a bike home from the office? Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Fody. Have a good bike ride. All right. What do we got? Not this. Not you. What do we got down here? All right, block partitions, 2312. Okay, that's a bit of a head scratcher. Honestly, if I'm honest, but let's not look into that too much. Let's go down and just do one thing. When we return fill, before we return fill, let's just print tested.size. Because we should be testing every tile once. So it should be the same size as fill. If it's not, I'm curious. 6375. Are we adding it with... I guess it doesn't matter terribly. But I don't love that. Because it implies that we're testing everything multiple times. Let's figure that out. So when we load the tile, we immediately add it to the tested array. Yes, good. That is as it should be. And then we go through. And then if we haven't tested the next tile, then we add it. We push it back onto the stack. Oh, we're pushing. We need to add it at the same time we put it on the... I see. I know exactly what's happening. We're adding these tiles to the stack before we're having a chance to evaluate them, or before we're having a chance to verify that they've been tested. So calling it tested is almost the wrong thing, but that's what we're going to call it. So we're just going to add that here and next. So whenever we add it to the stack, we're also going to add it to this tested array. We'll do it here. That should fix this for us. All right, 2312. Okay, fixed. Fix that. And then what we should do is we should actually change the way what we return here. Call this flood. Change how this works a little bit. Kind of a stupid way of naming things, but because there's the flood and the fill. There's the fill, which is the volume that we can actually fill in the space, and then there's the flood, which is going to be everything that we test. Like the test itself. And I actually want to return the flood, not the fill. But I want to say block partitions. Partition count. We'll say index equals fill. Not call block partitions. Oh no, index isn't here. So initial tile. that, and then we're going to say partition count. Say that. Index. Perlansky, you just got GitHub set up after your suggestion yesterday. No, that's good. That's really great. No thanks needed. Everyone should have that. Block partitions. Yeah. So instead of saying block partitions partition count, we're going to say variable tested tiles equals flood fill from tile partition count. And then we're going to say for tile in oh, no, this doesn't work. This is exactly the same as doing it. Oh, no, no, no. No, it's not. It's not exactly the same. It'll save us some effort. For tile in tested tiles. If untested tiles has tile. Untested tiles erase. Yeah, okay. So that should save us some time. All right, so let's continue with the debugging. Ship tile block replaced. Tile block replaced, it's on. Tile blocks. -1, -7, 5. That's where I'm at, right? We're at -1, -7, 5. Null. Okay, so the null here is the problem. Why is block partitions a dictionary? Oh, it's a dictionary of arrays. Right, right, right. Oh, so this is, no, this isn't null. This is -1, -7, -5, or -1, -7, 5 is 0. 0 is a floor. Okay, so the tile blocks are correct. We're passing in a tile block. Okay, so we're passing in the tile block, which is good. Get out of here. Blind, for a long time, first time watching on PC, so finally can see your code. Does this come far from the first streams? Yeah, it has. We're streaming in 4K over on YouTube, Wind, if you want to check that out. But I tried to blow it up so it's still very readable here in Twitch at 1080. I hope it is. I wouldn't say my code is good, but we're building systems. We're adding functionality. I mean, two nerdy nerds would be the first person to point out that you know, we don't have a gameplay prototype, but we almost have an autotiler. All right, so here's our problem. Something's not making it down correctly here. So let's stop. All right. Let's stop here. Layer number 0. Block type is 1. Hold on a minute. Enum. What is the block type for a floor? Yeah, it should be 0. Floor layer X is the first one. Oh, shoot. Floor layer X is a wall? When did that happen? Oh, they all shifted because I changed their definitions. I might have identified the problem. There wasn't any layer actually looking for floors. All of the definitions shifted down because I changed null to be a negative number. Aha. I want doors. Maybe I want 3 door layers. I don't know. We'll get there. Wind, your mobile eyesight can't handle Twitch. Can't handle. Might try out YouTube sometime. Yeah, give it a try. I'm mainly multi-streaming to YouTube just for archival purposes, just so we have the archives of the stream forever. So every embarrassing thing that I've ever said can just live forever on YouTube. Cubus, why can't you modify a single emote with your points? You want it to boat in the other directions. Yeah, modifying enums is hazardous. Yeah. Hopefully we don't need to do it very much. Or if we do, we're just adding to it. As long as we don't mess with the earlier ones that are already established, it should be fine. Huh, Cubus, you can't modify a single emote. That's weird. Can I modify a single emote? Let me see if I can do it. Digital Iliad doesn't have any emotes to unlock. Your points were not used. Huh. Okay, I'll look into that. I don't understand why that would happen. Maybe that's a channel points configuration thing that I don't have set up correctly. Because we know I have... Y'all know I have emotes. And by emotes, I mean... One emote. I have a single emote. Alright. So maybe this works now? Maybe this just works? Okay, invalid access to property or key compartments on a base object of type nil. So now we're having the children accessing parents before the parents are ready problem. There is another channel point reward of approximately 900 points. No, don't do it. Ship it and ship it back. Yeah, send it back. That would be funny. Ship it and flip it. Yeah. All right, so what do I want to do for this? Because I want this. I want to have references to these dictionaries in the children. Maybe we just have the parents assign them? That still won't work. Because it's going multiple levels. Because the hall will give it to the decks, and the decks will give it to the layers. What should I do? Like, just like an await something? Or is there like a phase after ready? I could just do this easily. You know, you've heard about ready, but what about second ready? Your easy solution is to initialize node variables and enter tree and handle connections and references to other nodes in Ready. Ah, that could work. That could work. It's weird that that's not what's happening. Let me see. Well, that still won't solve the problem. Because our problem is, the problem is we have multiple layers of nesting. The hull has the actual dictionary of compartments. And its child, ship deck, wants it. As well as the ship deck's child, ship layer, also wants it. So even if we do what you're saying, I think we still have a problem. Because on Ready, the parent still won't have grabbed it from its parent, so the child won't be able to get it. So maybe the child needs to go straight to the source. Enter tree is called with every enter, though. Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. I think what we want is for the children to just know about their grandparent. I think. Because who's having the problem? The deck. Oh, wait, the deck is having the problem. That's an issue. Yeah, so there's no way to do this. Really. Maybe this is an argument for switching to an array slice thing. So we just slice up the array as we need it, instead of just having it be a dictionary that we have to hold. Because if it's an array that we slice up for the lower layers, then we just grab it whenever we're about to run it. That doesn't work with this compartments thing, though. I guess it does. You can await get parent ready dot ready. Oh, okay. Verlansky, I'm gonna time you out. If the children need to know about their grandparent, then you need to call parent.show family photos children. You're killing me. So await get parent is good. I kind of like slicing up the arrays. Yeah, all right. Do that. Okay, so let's think about doing this differently. So let's say variable tile blocks is an array of enum.block. You could say outer space is an array of vector 3i. Cubist, so what? The parent has data and both child and grandchild reference it? Yes. So the grandparent has the grandparent is the ship hull, and this has the actual information about the tile blocks. Like, it has the information about its components. Like what it consists of. and the children and grandchildren both want to reference it. So I was doing it by just passing dictionaries down. And by passing, I mean they were already grabbing them. So I guess I could pass them down one time. But I also like the idea of slicing arrays and giving them only the parts that they need. Does it take more storage? Yes. Would it simplify their search space? Also, yes. Can't they just have a reference to that node and always access it from there? No, you're right, Cubist. They don't actually need to have... I was just trying to simplify it, but you're right. Since it's passed by reference, I just wanted to do it once so I didn't have to do shipdex.compartment or shiphull.compartments every time. Actually, the thing was I didn't really want the layer to know about its outer hull, like to know about its grandparent or have to reference it at all, but I guess that's fine. All right, we're going to do that for now, because that's the easy thing to do. It's just get rid of these references and replace them. Keep thinking I'll switch script if I switch scene. You're right. My problem wasn't really a problem. It was more just like a weird way of being. Where do you add those children? Because you could also set the data there. These children already exist. They're in like a scene. So yeah, I guess we could... What we could do if we really wanted to do it this way, we could have... Oh no, that still won't work because we have multiple layers of object nesting. No, we're just going to do what you said. Made up problems for made up people. How dare you? I actually do like my array slicing idea to speed up these searches, but that's not something we need to do today. I'd rather just get the system working and have it be slow. So, all right, I've removed the references to these objects. When are you going to complain about it? There we go. So for coords in ship hull dot tile blocks. And so at onReady variable ship hull node 2d equals ship deck dot get parent. Why am I getting them as node 2d? Gotten so used to snake case that I like struggle with camel case now. They start in a scene, they can also use owner.sum data. Oh, okay. And what is owner? Like the root node of the particular scene? Owner is the root node of the packed scene they are saved in. Cool. We could try that. Because its parent doesn't exist. All right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's be dumb. Where the F is a vector 3? Where did I put a vector 3? Oh, right here. All right, we did it. We made it through get hull types. And we should have, yeah, one thing. All right. Maybe we're getting there. Maybe we're getting there. I'm going to take out the breakpoint and see what we just have now. We have an error. Vector 3. Where are all these vector 3s? Ah, there they are. God, I'm so dumb. Gotta dot your I's, people. Invalid type and function set cell and base ref counted tile ID. Cannot convert argument 2 from vector 3i to vector 2i. Oh. That should be easy enough. All right, we're getting there. We're slowly... Wait, why is there an error there now? Invalid access or property or key. Vector 3i max axis index callable on a base type object of vector 3i. Oh. Easy. All right, we're knocking them out. Oh, just for scenes that are saved to disk. Oh, that's interesting. Out of bounds index. Out of bounds. Get index 3 on array vector 3. Yeah, why? Why is that happening? Dimension. Null is -1. X is 0. Y is 1. Z is 2. Why? How is this happening? Tileblocks.has coords plus opblock dimension. Did I mess this up somewhere? Who do I check? I'll reconfigure this again because I'm stupid. This might break. We might actually need to just get rid of these for now. Get rid of the door and the deco. Why? Why GeForce Experience in-game overlay? Constantly bothering me. This is the wrong scene. Oh shit! We're doing something. It's not correct, but we're doing something. Oh, it's outlining too. It's struggling a little bit, but it's doing something. We're drawing something. It's not the right thing, but you know, what can you do? It's doing something weird when it hits a middle tile. Oh, the whole thing moves down. That's not right. Interesting. Well, bad things are happening, but at least something's happening. No worries. Thanks, Givus. It's a complete mess. Yeah, we're doing it, though. We're getting some outline coverage. Like, if we go this way, if we go along the x-axis, the floors are sort of behaving correctly until I start surrounding them with stuff. Then they're behaving insanely. Maybe it's a Z indexing issue? Is quite possibly what it is. Partly. Not entirely. There's definitely more than one issue happening. But it could at least partly be a Z indexing issue. It's also a paint preview. So we should be cleaning this up and we're not. I think I understand why. Some awesome bugs, yeah. Yeah, I might be landing in the same if. I'm thinking that some of the middle hull stuff is working and some of this other stuff is not working. So let's make sure the Z indexing is correct. It probably isn't. Ordering Z is 0. Oh, we're Y sorting. Can we not do that now? We cannot. Well, we can't. I think Y sorting is doing something here. Y sorting between the different... No, they all have the same texture origin. So Y sorting shouldn't be causing the problem. And if anything, the Z should always show up on top, but it's the Y that keeps showing up on top. So why is that? Doesn't seem to be a problem here. Yeah, well, the difference is it might have been as bad as your joke, but this is my channel. All right, so I think we have a smorgasbord of bad things happening here. Let's do what Ferlansky said and check how we're doing this hull type stuff. I think the hull type thing is being evaluated correctly. There could be some issues with the Atlas chords thing. It looks like we were picking... I don't know, I'm going to look at this again. There's something super weird happening, especially when we surround other tiles. Really hard to see the black outline as well. Yeah, there's something weird happening here too. Maybe I didn't set the texture origin to be exactly correct for all of these. It seems to be the case. Once we start doing this, this is mostly okay. That's not right. This is what's really not right. And what I'm curious about is whether the Z is there and it's just being rendered underneath. Okay, and then we're okay here. So it's something about its relationship to the tile behind it, which is not how this works. Also, this interesting double outlining thing is very curious. Shifting floor bug, yeah. Seems to remove the northeast border line when a tile is placed northwest. I didn't even notice that. Is that what it's doing? Yeah, that is what it's doing, and that is wrong. So yeah, there's quite a few logical errors here. Let's try to tackle them one at a time here. It is interpreting, each face is interpreting tiles on 4 sides of it. I'm gonna just, well, for one thing, I'm gonna turn off this print. Where is this print? I'm like spamming the print log thing. We've got a print somewhere. Where is it? All right. I'm gonna double check the tile set just because I've redone this tile set like 3 times in the past few days, so it's very possible that I'm doing it wrong. There's some weird overlapping that's happening, which is very suspicious. Oh. During texture origin. Why can't I see this? There we go. That's correct. So the texture origin is correct. You're -8, -6. You're 8, -6. That's also correct. I could put the Z index directly in the tile set. That's interesting. Don't quite want to do that at this point, but it could be an interesting option. So there's something wrong here, I feel. Texture origin 0. I'm going to turn off Y sorting and see what happens. So I think we want to turn Y sorting off on the layers and the decks, but not the hull. See if that makes a change. Yeah, the when it goes dark part is the thing that truly perplexes me, because it looks like it's showing multiple tiles underneath it simultaneously. Okay, so it's better. So it's not doing the thing I was just describing where it's like zigzagging. Yeah, there is some Y sorting issues, because you'll see if I do this, this is super whack. So it's the Y is being rendered in front of the X, which is not correct. Okay, so we've just traded problems is what we've done here. Yeah, these are all the Y faces. So somehow the Y face is being rendered on top of, like, I think everything else. But also, I think there's something happening to the Z face when it's being surrounded. So let's look at that combination of things. So where is something... Increment 2 if adjacent face, not max axis, is greater than 0. What if it's both? Okay, I think I've spotted a logical error here. I can kind of just look at any piece of my code and find a logical error. It's kind of nice. You really don't have to look very far to find errors in this code base. I think there's something wrong with the increment. All right, let's see. So for adjacent faces dimension, yeah. If the hull type has this adjacent face, yeah. If the hull type at this adjacent face is the same as our hull type, yeah, then the increment is 2 if the adjacent face max axis index is greater than 0. Otherwise, it's 1. So that's basically saying, is it Y or Z? Is this a Y or a Z neighboring face? In which case we increment 2. Otherwise, we increment 1. Why does this make sense? Let's look at the tile set. Okay, we're doing this because the X is handled here, which is why it's working. The X is the first row. And then the Y, in this case it's the Y, is the second row. And this is where we're having problems. I see. So it's increment 2 if the adjacent tile is Y or Z, and also if it's positive. That's what I was misreading that code, because it's adjacent face of the adjacent face at the max axis index. If this adjacent face it's this component, the component of the max axis index. If this component is greater than 0, then the increment is 2. That's correct. Otherwise, it's 1. Okay, so this is right. And then we say if adjacent face dot max axis index is greater than 0, then we add this to the y. This is wrong. The increment's right, but what does it mean for the x? I think that's weird. So negative 1. Oh, no, it's correct for this too. So it's increment. We add 1. If it's that. We add 2. So we get to 3 if it's both. So this part actually looks correct to me. This part of the code looks right. You know, somehow it works. Like the Three Stooges syndrome from The Simpsons. Yeah, it's, well, it doesn't totally work. I don't know how much of this you saw, but it's doing something, but I'm suspicious of the Y and the Z behaving poorly. The X seems to mostly work. The Z actually seems to be doing its best. But if it's surrounded, it starts hollowing itself out, and I'm trying to understand why. So we're auto-tiling, we're just not auto-tiling correctly. The Y always shows up in front of the X, which is a problem. So like I'm noticing that the Y behind is showing up in front of the X, so the X face. So that's a Y sorting issue for sure. I'm just trying to think about how I want to solve it. We haven't really made progress for Lansky, but I appreciate you checking. So that's a problem. There's some kind of weird Z problem, because the Z, by the same logic, because the Y is rendering over the X, I would expect the Z to render over everything else, but that is not happening. Z isn't rendering at all. Z is invisible, which is very weird. What if we try to do this as walls? I'm curious about that. All right, what are the walls doing? Are they doing the same thing as the floors? Yes. Is it more clear what's happening? No. This is curious. What is this doing down here? This is like an extra floor piece. Oh, hey, Fallon here. How's it going? We're working on an auto-tiler. We've got it auto-tiling, but its neighbor logic is not working. I think we have a combination of neighbor logic and Y sorting issues. We're working on an autotiler for the tile map layer system that's isometric. How are you doing? Why are they wall height now? I did that. Heck yes, but also oh no. Yeah, that's kind of in the vibe. We're working on this kind of a deal. We have like we're doing like stacked isometric like deck layers, like ship decks. So this was all hand painted. Like I picked this layout. And so I don't want to do that anymore. So we've been working on an autotiler system. And it's a little rough going, but we were stuck in an infinite loop yesterday, so we're doing infinitely better than we were yesterday, so that's good. I appreciate you stopping by. Probably running out of time. It's 9:45. I gotta be out of here by 10. So I don't know if we're gonna solve this today. If we can figure out some small aspect of this, that'd be great. Well, we can say the alt tile system is working. So that's nice. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I think I'm always live well before you are. No, maybe not a lot before you are, but yeah. We're like 2 ships passing in the early morning. Well, morning for me. All right. Could there be a problem here? Maybe? This is solid. I'm like not terribly concerned with this. Block type times 2. What's Z facing? I'm really suspicious of what's happening here. This one little thing is making me crazy. These little triangles right here, what are those? They look like the tops of the walls, but we shouldn't be rendering that. We shouldn't be rendering anything like that. So what is that? Oh, what? That? Okay. I'm trying to see, is it like the Y side of one of the other walls? No. I think something crazy weird is happening where like what should be the roof of this tile here is being rendered as the floor of the next tile. Maybe I do have some kind of source ID. I don't know what I've got going on. That would kind of explain that. Would it also explain this? Oh, it might also somewhat explain the floors version of this. Is the deck below getting involved? No. It shouldn't be. The drawing system right now should be just this. Like we can go down and for right now it moves the whole thing, which is suspicious, and I don't actually understand why that's happening. We're not doing a clear. I mean, part of the reason we're able to build this whole thing is that we're not clearing the paint preview like we're supposed to be, which works for me right now because I'm kind of just trying to understand this horrible monster. Oh, this is interesting. What's going on here? Oh, it's because I'm laying walls over the floors, maybe? Or I'm laying floors over walls. Oh. I'm replacing the walls with floors, and it's having an impact, but a weird one. Yeah, there's some... This is fucked up. This might be a weekend project trying to untangle that. Because I only got about 10 minutes before work starts. I think we're seeing a combination of issues. Let me make sure the hull types thing works the way I think it does. So the compartments do not include the walls anymore. They'll include floors. Oh, I should have stopped that. Technically, couldn't you just repaint all the sprites until it looks right? Yeah, right. If only. Hmm. Hum. Ha. We're in a break. We're in an ad break for a second. I'm gonna fix some stuff here. Somehow Falonier has not been recognized as a VIP. Fix that. If anybody doesn't know, Falonier is the team leader of the stream team I'm in. A scholar and a gentleman. So if you're not checking him out, I think he might be streaming after me. Soon-ish. Weather permitting, I think. Yeah, I think there's a problem. There's some problem at a couple of these. I need to think about the Y sorting. I thought I had a good solution, but now I'm seeing that I think we're Y sorting in node order, unless I turn Y sorting on. All of the tiles, so the 3 tiles of each of these things, so like the walls and the sides and the floors, for a given block, like the 3 faces of each block, like the left side, right side, top side, they all have an identical Y sort, like a Y origin or a tile origin. They have an identical tile origin. But I think I need to do something else. I think I need to do a little more Y sorting stuff. So like to make sure that the floors show up above the side walls. I need to fiddle with that. I'm tempted to do some Z indexing here on the tile map layer here. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna need to dig into this. It's probably gonna be another late night figuring out exactly what's going on there. Which I really had something else I wanted to do on the weekend, so we'll see how much I get done. I wanted to work on my old jam game and get that finished, but we'll see. But hell, we're stuck here, but it's a lot of progress compared to yesterday where we were just stuck in an infinite loop and we weren't rendering anything, so we'll take this L-shaped W with us into the weekend. And we'll see. Yeah, thanks for Lansky. Yeah, I'm gonna head out. I appreciate everyone for hanging out with me today. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. And I feel brain dead, so we're not gonna raid out. We're just gonna end. So well, let's see who's on. Let's see who's on. Check on the team, see who's streaming. Tom Millman is streaming. We'll raid into Tom. I'm gonna not spell his name correctly. Is it 1L or 2? 1L. Okay, I was gonna get that. And there's an underscore. All right. Appreciate everyone. Let's go give some love to Tom. Tom does good work. And is on the same stream team as me, the one led by Fallon here. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.